I'm revisiting some of the most searched for recipes of last year, and at number 3 on Google's list, Marry Me Chicken. I think I do. I can see why this is a big Google trend. So here's my method for making Marry Me Chicken with a few key tips that I think makes it easier and even more awesome. I'm using 2 chicken breasts, but I think you could use chicken thighs here as well. That would be great. And they're actually quite large, so I'm gonna do a couple things to get a little bit more out of them. I'm just gonna butterfly our chicken breasts open. Chicken breasts nowadays tend to be really big, and now I'm also just gonna cut it in half to give me 2 really actually nice sized portions. Although I'm making enough for 2, this could probably go a little further. Always a good excuse to use the rolling pin. And I just want, not to really beat them to death, but I want a nice sort of flatter surface. Just gave them a little pounding out to even them out. They're looking really good. I'm gonna remove some plastic wrap here. We'll hit them with a little bit of salt and we'll let them hang out while we get everything else ready. And then keep washing my hands. No cross-contamination. We'll prep everything else before we get back to that chicken. And you sort of want to have everything prepped because once you get cooking, this dish moves pretty fast. From what I can find, there's a lot of different recipes of Marry Me Chicken online, although I really do think it is Marry Me worthy for a loved one, for Valentine's Day, for the family, whoever you're cooking for, maybe just yourself. Okay, we need a little dredge for our chicken, about, half a cup or more of regular all-purpose flour, a little bit of salt, and some pepper. We need 2 or 3 nice big cloves of garlic for this dish. My new tip on chopping garlic is I don't. I really like slicing garlic now because I've learned over the years that sliced garlic, you're crushing less of the cells and so it's less astringent than chopping it. So that's what I like to do, slice my garlic. Smells so good. Okay, we'll get our pan heating up with a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of butter. It's a nice combination. And while we get our pan heating up, we'll turn our attention back to our chicken and give it a little pass through that dredge that we made, which is just a little salt and pepper in some all-purpose flour. You could totally make this with cornstarch or a gluten-free flour if you wanted to keep this gluten-free. And by the way, this dish is pretty keto-friendly unless you're serving the chicken over pasta or rice or potatoes, which pasta is for me. But a green vegetable or maybe some extra mushrooms, that would be great too. Mix up our flour just a bit. So I'm just taking one of our chicken pieces and lightly passing it through, making sure to get the flour on all the sides. This dredge will also help us thicken our sauce later. Shake off a little bit of the excess. And final one. Okay, our pan is at a nice little bit of a sizzle. We're gonna lay our chicken breasts in, give them a nice amount of room. I also like a stainless steel bottomed pan so you get a lot of nice browning. You could use a non-stick, but you're not gonna get as much browning, so that is my pro tip. Okay, our chicken has been going for about 5 minutes. I want some nice browning on the floured sides, and that is exactly what I'm talking about. That's beautiful. Doesn't have to be completely even, but just a nice golden color. Yeah, these are looking really good. Okay, our chicken has got a nice light color on the other side, so I'm gonna remove it from the pan. Just gonna lower the heat slightly. Just let it rest on a plate. And right now we've got a lot of great fond going on, but I wanna add just another splash of olive oil, just a little bit more. And to that, I'm gonna add our garlic. That was 3 cloves that I sliced. And before I discard it, off to the side, I'm also gonna add just a heaping teaspoon of our dredging flour so it actually will act later on as a thickener. So we'll give the garlic and the flour just a minute to cook out. Smells so good. Okay, to our pan, I'm also gonna add about a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. I like the heat. A variety of the recipes online have different types of Italian herbs. I'm just adding an Italian herb blend, about a nice teaspoon. And then some of the recipes online use white wine to deglaze the pan, but I don't have white wine, and one of my tricks that I like to do instead is just a tablespoon of white wine vinegar. You're going to get a nice big hit of vinegar for a moment, but it's going to cook out. Bring the heat back up. And to our pan, I'm adding 2 cups of chicken stock. I'm going to start to scrape up all of the beautiful brown color that was on the bottom of our pot. If you are making pasta, this is a good time to start your pasta water, which I'm going to do. And nobody said that this was a light dish, so to our chicken stock mixture, we're also adding a cup of heavy cream or whipping cream. You actually do need the richness so that the cream doesn't break or split. It's so good. And as we're bringing this up to just a little bit of a bubble, I'm also going to add some sun-dried tomatoes, about half a cup or so. They really add a lovely meaty texture and another punch. Really good. So now that our sauce is up to a simmer, I'm adding some Parmesan cheese. This is real Parmigiano Reggiano, and I like grating it on one of these microplanes because you get a really fine grate so it melts in well. It'll help thicken up the sauce. And most of the recipes online said to add 1/3 to half a cup, but it doesn't really tell you the volume. I think you're probably shooting for a couple of good ounces here. And now it's time to add our chicken pieces back in and let them simmer. And any juices that might have collected on the plate, you can put back in there as well. Do I really need a pound of pasta? Yeah. Why am I fat? So I have our chicken on a low simmer. The sauce just continues to get nice and thick. The chicken will be totally cooked. I have some pasta going on in the back. Cannot wait. Yeah. You guys hang out back here. Okay, let's get a nice piece here. Oh, you definitely want to get some of the sauce. Those sun-dried tomatoes, those slices of garlic. So good. Look at that. I think a little extra parm, just a little bit. Oh yeah. Okay, I cannot wait to dig in. So good. It's actually a really easy dish. You know, just a little dredge of chicken and all of those ingredients. Here goes. Yeah, I'm not stopping. The sauce is rich and flavorful. I mean, with all that garlic and the sun-dried tomato and the Parmesan. The chicken is nice and tender. My pairing is pasta. But if you wanted to serve this with mashed potatoes or over rice, or if you wanted to keep it keto friendly and maybe add some mushrooms, serve it over with some green vegetables, totally great. I think this is the perfect dinner for 2 or more. Easy to swoon somebody if you're trying to show off your skills in the kitchen. It's a pretty easy dish and it tastes like restaurant quality. Very impressive. Where's my rapid snap when I need it? So, and right now we've got a lot of great, the chicken will